So today we're going to dive into something pretty fundamental for Cardano's future. We're talking about a massive evolution of its core engine. And look, this isn't just another update. It's a total rethink designed to tackle the challenges the network is facing right now and to get it ready for what's coming next. Let's break down how it all works. And that really gets to the heart of the matter, right? It's the big question for any blockchain. How do you ramp up the speed without, breaking everything? How do you get massive performance gains and not sacrifice the security and decentralization that make it special in the first place? Well, Cardano's answer is a powerful 1-2 punch: Ouroboros Omega and Leios. To really get where we're going, we first have to understand where we came from. So let's rewind a bit back to the origin story of Cardano's consensus protocol, Ouroboros, and the big problem it was designed to solve from day one. The whole idea behind Ouroboros was pretty simple, but also really ambitious. It was about capturing the absolute genius of Bitcoin while fixing its single biggest flaw. On one side, you have Bitcoin's strengths. It's secure, it's decentralized, and it has this cool thing called dynamic availability. Basically, anyone can jump in or out of the network without causing chaos. But the flaw? Oh, it's a big one: the insane amount of energy wasted by proof of work. So the goal for Ouroboros was to keep all the good stuff, but swap that wasteful physical resource for a virtual one, stake. But here's the thing: Ouroboros didn't just stop there. It wasn't a simple copy-paste job. It actually made things better. Its reward-sharing system, for instance, actively pushed for more decentralization, helping to avoid the huge mining pools you see dominating Bitcoin. It even made the network less reliant on having perfectly synced clocks around the world. And most importantly, it held on to Bitcoin's best tricks, like letting anyone join and the network's ability to heal itself. So the foundation was already incredibly solid. But that strong foundation has led to a ton of success. And as we all know, success brings its own set of problems. The network is now so popular that it's starting to push up against the very limits of its own design. It's kind of hitting a digital ceiling. And you can see the problem right here, plain as day. A huge chunk of the blocks on the network are consistently jammed, almost full. Now, on one hand, that's awesome. It means people are actually using Cardano. It's a sign of high demand. But it's also the direct cause of network traffic jams. The system is literally running out of road. Okay, so let's break this down into 3 big hurdles. First, capacity. When blocks are full, your transaction gets stuck in line and you have to wait. Second, there's capability. Developers are trying to build really cool, complex apps, but they're starting to bump up against the protocol's limits, and that could slow down innovation. And third, and this is a big one, sustainability. Right now, transaction fees alone just aren't enough to pay for the network's security over the long run. For Cardano to be truly self-sufficient, that has to change. So how in the world do you smash through that ceiling? Well, the first part of the answer is something called Ouroboros Omega, and it's super important to get this. Omega isn't just a software update, it's a whole new guiding philosophy. Think of it as the new brain of the operation, designed to make the network smarter and, most importantly, way more adaptive. The number one rule of Omega? Adapt. Go fast when you can. It's like a self-driving car on an empty highway at 3 a.m. When conditions are perfect, why would it stick to the speed limit? It should open up the throttle. The idea is for the protocol to have this fast lane that it can switch into when the network is healthy, letting it perform way, way better when all the nodes are online and working well together. This quote from IOG's chief scientist Angelos Kiaias just nails it. That distributed penalty, that's the natural slowdown you get from having to coordinate thousands of different computers all over the world. Omega's goal is to make that penalty disappear when the network is running smoothly. It aims to let the network operate with the speed of a centralized system, but, and this is key, without ever giving up its decentralized security. Okay, principle number 2 is all about diversifying how the network stays safe. Right now, it's pretty much all about your stake, how much ADA you've got. But Omega asks, what if we could use other valuable things too? Maybe something like proof of useful work, where people contribute to scientific research to help secure the network, or even a reputation system. It's about finding more creative, more resilient ways to keep the whole system safe and sound. All right, so we've talked about the philosophy, the brain. Now let's get to the machine. If Omega is the brain, then Ouroboros Leios, well, that's the brand new engine. It's the brawn that's going to do the heavy lifting and smash right through that digital ceiling. So how does this new engine actually work? It's genius, really. Imagine you're trying to send a huge video file to a friend. Instead of trying to email the whole giant thing and clogging everything up, what do? You send a quick link, right? That's exactly what Leios does. First, a tiny, super fast ranker block, that's the link, gets sent out. It just points to a much bigger endorsement block that's stuffed with transactions. The network quickly checks the little link, and then everyone votes on the big block of data. If the vote passes, a certificate gets created, and bam, everything is confirmed at once. By separating the announcement from the data, it gets incredibly fast.
But what happens if things go wrong? What if the network gets choppy or that vote on the big block fails? This is the really clever part. The whole system doesn't just crash and burn. Nope. It just switches back to the old, reliable, battle-tested way of doing things, without even skipping a beat. It's got a built-in safety net that makes sure the quest for speed never, ever sacrifices security.
Okay, so we've gone through the tech, but what does this actually mean for you, for the developers, for everyone using Cardano? Let's talk about the real-world benefits of this faster, smarter future. For developers, this is an absolute game changer. We are talking about a potential jump in smart contract limits of more than 100 times. Just let that sink in for a second. 100 times bigger. This isn't just a small tweak. This unlocks an entirely new universe of powerful, complex dApps that are literally impossible to build today. And that huge leap for developers is just the beginning. The real payoff is how Leios tackles those 3 big challenges we talked about. Simulations are showing throughput of over 100 transactions per second, with your transaction confirmed in about a minute. Security is solid, since an attack can only slow things down, not break them. And crucially, with that much higher throughput, transaction fees can finally sustainably pay for the network's future. That whole long-term economic problem, solved. And that brings us right back to where we started. That big question, can a decentralized network ever truly compete with the speed of a centralized one? Well, with Omega as the brain and Leios as the engine, Cardano isn't just asking the question, it's building the answer. And its bet is that you don't have to choose. You really can have the best of both worlds.